they should buy your product, or they should put their name down or pick up the phone and call you, because that's what you're competing with online, is that person who's that close. They're making their choice online. Oh, I think okay. So it all starts with keywords. So basically, what happens with keywords? Well, typically what happens with keywords is clients come to us and they say, these are my keywords. And they come to us and they say, I know what my clients are looking for. And we say, great, give us your keywords. Tell us what you think they're looking for. And we start with your keywords. But then the real job begins. We have tools, and we go out there and we do research. And research also tells us, what are your core keywords? What do you think that people are looking for? And then what we do is it's basically thesaurus based. So it pulls up, the tool pulls up every keyword that's related to your business. It's probably that thing went red again. I'll just talk through it. I'm on a deadline here. And I'm only on the buying cycle, so I got to move along. But anyway, so we go back, each keyword and keyword phrase, so that's where we get the phrases and the long tails, all of that research since the beginning of these tools, and that's about 15 or 16 years ago, since the internet really started to collect this data. They had meta search engines out there that just collected this data, and all that data is still out there. And so anytime that you search for a keyword that comes up 2 times or more, that data has been collected, and that keyword has a number, a value, it has all kinds of data around it. So we know that. And so we can say to you, okay, here's what you think the people are looking for. And here's what the set of keywords that we came up with. And then typically what we do is we work with our client and say, okay, you look through this enhanced list, and is that your client? Is that your client? Is that your client? Then what we do is we also match it up to where in the buying cycle would that client be. For example, we have franchises that we work with. Now, there's a variety of franchises out there, but if you don't have the word franchise opportunity, you're not going to get somebody at the beginning of the buying cycle. Because that person who's looking for a franchise opportunity doesn't know what they want yet. They don't know that they want your franchise. You may be McDonald's. They don't know that yet. You're a food franchise, you know what I mean? So if you don't have a buying word from the beginning of the buying cycle, you're not going to get that person who's doing research and exploring and maybe eventually buys your franchise. So what we try to do is we say, okay, these are words where maybe you have some tire kickers, maybe you don't want those words, maybe you only want those people that are at the end of the buying cycle. Or let's say you sell high-end real estate. You don't want somebody looking for cheap real estate. That's the wrong person on your site. And if you're paying anything, having us do it is paying us something, or paying for a pay-per-click, you don't want to have the wrong traffic on your site. You're not selling cheap real estate. You're selling million-dollar homes. You only want luxury property people who are interested in what you have. So matching the buying cycle, the reason I put this in selection of keywords and exclusion, defining negative keywords, no, cheap, you know, having all of that as part of your core set of keywords, refining your list, working with us, getting the right people to the right page on your site with the right message for conversion is very important. It's a strategy. It's an orchestration of that whole process. If you don't do it, you will be less successful. It doesn't mean, you know, I talk to a lot of people who have they get lots of business from their website and they haven't done a lot of this stuff. But the more you hone in and do it right, the more you can actually guarantee that you're going to get a certain result on a regular basis. So you can count on it as a pipeline or a stream of business. So that's the difference. It's a marketing strategy, and it works. But all of this goes into that first step of getting the right people to the site. And it all starts with how are they looking, who's looking, and what are they looking for, and having the tools to find that. And we have those tools. Some of the tools are free. Google has free tools. And some you pay for if you want to refine that list a little more. So Google AdWords has a free tool. It's a free keyword tool. It generates ideas. Again, it's a thesaurus, so it gives you ideas. It scans a pre-existing site for related keywords. Basically, it has an ability to sign in and add directly to the AdWords campaign. You can, it's based on actual inquiries, so you know that the results are true results. WordTracker is a third party. You have to pay for that. It generates ideas. It actually is a very robust tool, but as I said, you do pay for it. So, it's a little more expensive. And then what I love is, and here's a real tip for all of you, is SpyFu.com. Now, SpyFu.com is a tool that you can spy on your competition for paid search. So, for example, you can put your competitor's name in SpyFu, and it will tell you what they are doing in search and paid search, what their budget is per day. So if you really want to know a little bit about your competitor, you know how to outsmart them, that's a wonderful little thing. They actually have a paid service, but the free service gives you enough. So it's a fun tool to do. If you want to go tomorrow and check on your competitors. Now, some of them don't do paid search, so they won't come up. But if they do anything that's going to be something that you have to worry about, it's going to be in there. Now, there's also a service called Compete, which is very expensive, and that's really good for competitive analysis. I mean, there are lots of tools that you can pay for online. These are all the relatively inexpensive. Well, SpyFu is free, WordTracker is pretty inexpensive, and then Google is free. So, we didn't give you the expensive ones, but if you want, there are some of those as well. Now, typically on the internet, I think we did that again, but typically on the internet, I lost the mic again, Mike. Oh, he's outside. I don't know what he did. Let me see if I can do it. Okay, I can do it. I can do it myself, I think. Okay, I did it myself. I'm good. I have a lot to cover, so I'm kind of wanting to move along here. Anyway, in terms of the last part of the buying cycle, to most of us, it's the purchase. Show me the deal, get me the client, I want the deal, right? What we call it is the call to action on the internet. If you have a good call to action, in other words, your call to action could be selling the product. The call to action could be downloading a white paper. The call to action could be getting a lead in a lead generation type site where someone actually fills out a form or gives you a call. So what we look at is how does that help us to close the deal? And that has to be orchestrated very carefully from the keyword to the landing page, to what's on that landing page and that A/B testing kind of thing, the call to action, we call that conversion. And that's what everybody wants. They want the deal, they want to measure that. So conversion. How do you get the best conversion? Well, identify what we call in the internet personas. In other words, as I said, different types of audiences. You may even have different types. It gets more expensive, as you're probably figuring this out, that if you want a killer website, you got to hire a marketing team that understands all of this, because you got to build a page for that persona. So let's say you want a particular luxury type persona who's buying a yacht and they only want a particular type of yacht, then you may want to build a special page just for that yacht. So that person lands on that page, not just on luxury yachts, but on that very thing, because you're talking right to that audience. Now, if you don't have money, you build a general page that deals with all of those yachts or whatever. But, that's why you need a team of people to really think through who is it and how are they going to land on that page and what kind of message, what kind of goals do you have. So it's not just let's build a website. Let's build a marketing tool, okay? What's the marketing message? Assign the call to action. Check out your path for conversion. What's the word that's going to lead to that, and have it linked to that and have it all done. Make sure that your reports or your analytics are hooked up to that, so that it's hooked up to Google Analytics so you can check on whether it's successful or not, and then test, test, test. You keep working at it until